What is going on, everybody? I am Bern,
And this is Ry.
and you are listening to the Bodacious Rant with Bern Ry. And this is the way to the Chapter 16, Season 2 finale review of The Mandalorian. Welcome back, my friend, if we have reached the end.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. I feel like this last summer and winter have been some of the best shows, like with the boys, how that kind of, felt so long, but it went by quick. And this one, just almost remember yesterday when we first recorded for this season. It's like, wow, and now we're at the end of it, right in time for Christmas.
Yeah, it's crazy how, 8 episodes, 8 weeks, it just went by so fast. It's like
Hmm.
almost a blur. Like, oh my gosh, wow, this is the end. I'm like, man, gotta wait a year, potentially more for season three. I can't, my heart can't take it.
Me neither, man. It was and then yeah, next season won't start until Christmas of next year. Literally, they said Christmas of 2021. So we have to wait a
Ah,
little over a year for another great season with Din Djarin, the silver-cladded Beskar Mandalorian character, and last season they introduced only a couple characters really stayed from last season to this one. And I remembered, I know we were talking about how we forgot Nick Nolte's character. It was Queel from
Quill,
season
there you
one.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. But the only two characters really to stay from the last one besides Grogu and Din were Grief Karga and Cara Dune. But because last
Right.
season they introduced several characters. Actually, no, and Bill Burr's character. I'm sorry, Bill Burr's character.
Oh yeah, Mayfeld.
Oh, and also the Tatooine lady, the engineer. I keep forgetting her name, but she was an elf. I rewatched Elf and I was like, oh, that's right, she was in that one too. She was the receptionist.
Oh, that's right.
Especially when
I think her name's Amy Sedaris or something like that. Her actor name, not her character name in Mando that I keep forgetting.
I just thought she was funny in Elf, just especially when he opens up the gift that Buddy got for him, a gift for a special someone, and it's a lingerie
It's
thing.
the lingerie.
He comes in, what's that? And intercom.
Intercom.
But anyways, yeah. So only a couple characters really stayed on, but Cara Dune is definitely so far the staple character from this season. And why I'm kind of harping on it is just that this season introduced so many characters, introduced slash brought characters onto the live screen. Specifically, maybe I shouldn't reveal it in case no one's really seen it. So, I mean,
But
but
I mean, if you're listening to the finale review, you at least have to know what has come before it. So
true.
I think spoilers for the previous episodes is fine at this point, but nothing for this episode in particular until we get to the spoiler section.
Just to be on the safe side until we get spoilers, I won't mention names, but like I said, they've introduced some characters in live action from the animated series, which are now canon or have been canon. So it's just a big confirmation of an expanded universe. Disney Plus with that Investor Day reveal of like every show coming. It's it's been a crazy year for The Mandalorian, crazy season, and just everything entertainment wise. So, but this finale, do you? Let me ask you this before I ask you your official ranting rating. Um, did you like it better than the last finale, like season one finale versus this one? Which did you like, and why?
I would think I would say that I did enjoy this season finale more than last season's finale, just based purely on the fact that I did enjoy the season one finale, and it was really good too. And I mean, that was the one directed by Taika Waititi, and also had a lot of his particular flair in that episode, which I really enjoyed. But I guess like overall in terms of spectacle and stakes, I think this one was a little bit more like a little better for me. I'll say that.
Okay, no, I'm still on the fence about it. I gotta rewatch it, again to really soak it all in. Like, I mean, not that I haven't already, but it's just it's they're kind of tied for me because they both have their stakes and have their moments where you think, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Just at different points or different situations. But the cool factor for this one I think was so much stronger. Just because again, some moments in this, we're gonna talk about that in the spoiler section that blew my mind and got me so excited for other shows to come and next season that it's just a little difficult to tell. But I I'm gonna give my official ranting for this one. I'm gonna give a strong 5 out of 5. I will agree with a lot of the reviewers that was a masterpiece, the crescendo of the Mandalorian season.
Yeah, it was the perfect way to end this season. It was a great season finale. It's not my favorite episode of the season if we're going to talk about, favorite episodes, but this one's definitely up
Really?
there in like the top, 3 or 4 of this season. That doesn't mean I didn't think it was great. Again, I give it a 5 out of 5, like just like you did. So, I mean, like I said, this was pretty damn cool and a really good way to tie up a lot of the storylines that had been set up for the season and wrap that up pretty nicely, while also at the same time establishing new storylines for what we can see, in the coming seasons of The Mandalorian. And I thought they did a really good job of, tying it up and then sprinkling some things there that haven't been tied up and that are gonna presumably be like the main driving force for at least season 3.
Well, that was very surprising to hear. We're going to talk about that in our spoiler section. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. We both give it 5 out of 5 rantings. So if you have not seen it, please watch it and tune back in because we're about to begin our spoiler session for this, our spoiler review. So, yeah, get off, turn YouTube off and put on Disney Plus and watch The Mandalorian season 2 finale.
Yeah, but before we go into the spoiler section, I kind of want to get your overall non-spoilery thoughts on season 2 as a whole. What did you think of it as, an overall storyline? Where did it do what you wanted it to, like you were expecting it, or did it catch you off guard? Did you think it was better or worse than season 1? What are your kind of like your general thoughts on season 2 as a whole?
Overall, season 2 I definitely think is a triumph. It is definitely an improvement, not an improvement, but it's escalated from season 1 into greatness where some shows season 2 is not that good. The boys are the exception, Castlevania an exception, and yeah, I can't think of anything else. But this season just took us into so many other ways. Like I know we talked about how we knew castings were coming, what characters were supposed to show up, but it's still with this season they all impacted me in a way that I thought, wow, I this is tremendous. I feel like I'm taken off guard still, even though I knew it was coming at some point. And again, the way it ended, which we'll talk about in the spoilers, is that I really was, it did tie up everything pretty well, and it just opens the doors for much more of what the season can lead to. And yeah, I can't wait enough. I thought I was hyped for season 2. Now I'm even more hyped for season 3. So overall, I'm gonna give a strong 9.5 out of 10. Strictly just because there were some things I wish I could have seen more, or that could have been brought back from season 1. But it's literally just being nitpicky. Besides that, this season is damn near perfect. What about you, Bern?
Nice. Well, just for reference, what rating would you give season 1?
Oh, season one's definitely another 9.5. Just because again, there were a couple episodes
Okay.
that were like, actually, you know what? Never mind. Let's make season one 9.5. This one would be like a 99.9, almost perfected. Because like I said, being nitpicky, I'm being a little again, specific. So 9.9 out of 10 rantings or 4.9 out of 5 rantings, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Take it what you will. But this one is definitely better than season one for sure.
Yeah, on that, I definitely agree with you. I think season 1, again, not to say season 1 was bad at all. Like I said, there was only one episode in that season that I did not like. I mean, and just the fact that there isn't an episode like that in this season 2, just puts it above, right away from that standpoint. But yeah, like you said, it did a really good job of building off where season 1 left off and the foundations it set with, Din as a character and Baby Grogu, and then all the side players. Well, the more important side players that we were introduced throughout the season. I thought it did a really good job of, bringing them all back and really furthering and tying up a lot of storylines that were set up there. So on that point, I think season 2 really did succeed And on another note, I think it really succeeded in not being overwhelmed by its its scale because there's so much that they did in this season that they did not do in season one. I mean, you and I've talked about it on this show where, every episode is visually so different and the planets that they go to and, the adventures that they get in and all these new characters that get introduced. I mean, in the hands of people who all, don't know what they're doing, this season could have ended up a huge mess, just being like completely scatterbrained and unfocused and not really knowing what direction to go in. But the entire time, we knew exactly what the case was, and this was Grogu and Din's story, and it did not lose sight of that, no matter the different routes they went in the story and the different characters that got introduced. I think they did a really good job of, again, just keeping the framing on these two characters and their journey. So on that note, again, I think season two is absolutely incredible, and I'm just so happy that we're getting a lot of really good Star Wars stuff with this show.
Absolutely. Again, this is like I said, this show got me the way this ended, yeah, got me excited for so much more than just Mandalorian season 3. Maybe not so much more, but it definitely makes me more excited for the few shows I really want to see Star Wars wise. So now, are we ready to begin the spoiler session?
Oh yeah, let's get into it, buddy.
Okay, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if please go watch the Mandalorian season finale for season 2 so we can, get your thoughts on it. We don't want to spoil it for you, but we will now. So, time to turn off. If we'll talk to you guys later sometime soon, if not another time. I don't know. The future is
Whenever you
untold.
decide to tune in, we'll be here.
I'm jumbled, man. I'm tired, but let's get to it. Uh So the way this episode started off, man, super dark right out of the gate. Like,
Gosh, yeah.
just again, it's great seeing the Slave One back in action this last few episodes, just because
Mhm.
again, it's such a unique ship. It's so weird looking when it's like landed on like a platform or something, just because it's like, how do I put it? Not upside down, but it's like a backside kind of thing. Like you're laying
Yeah,
down
it's kind of
and
like the shuttle end of a spacecraft where you're just like laying flat and looking up.
yeah, and that's what's always been really unique, especially since Attack of the Clones, when you really see the Slave One in action. Because in Empire Strikes Back, you only see it just take off or kind of just hover in space. You didn't really see it do anything, but Attack of the Clones, that's when you got to really see its full potential, and we get to see more of it this season too, which is amazing. And
Mhm.
just when they get that Doctor Pershing, I think, right? That's his name.
Yeah, something like that, Dr. Pershing.
Just when those two Imperial pilots, man, just my God, they definitely deserve to get shot. One was trying to just be in a coward and just like we'll make a deal, and the other one was just messed up. Like Cara Dune, say what you will about Gina Carano outside of The Mandalorian, just because she's made some controversial statements on Twitter. She's gotten a lot of flack this year, mostly of her own, all of her own doing, but
Yeah.
she did a great job in that scene. She like the tear, like you could sense that the fury of emotion she was going through, and that guy's just throwing what happened to
Alderaan.
Alderaan. Yes, thank you. What happened to Alderaan in her face, just because she's from Alderaan. And for those of you, if you remember, in the original trilogy, the first planet that the Death Star really was used on was the Alderaan, which is where Princess Leia is from and Cara Dune is from. And he, oh my God, just when he's like saying, how many bases there were, how many people, like we stopped terrorism in his eyes. And this season is just going to show every villain's the hero of their own story, or everyone's the hero of their own story, regardless of what side you're on. So
Mhm.
it was just, oh my God, I'm glad she shot him in the face though. That I was like, that's a crazy start.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, just shoot him. I felt like Chris Tucker and,
And Rush Hour 2.
and Rush
Oh,
Hour 3.
oh hell no, he did not just take Alderaan right now. Shoot him, Kara. Shoot his ass. All you gotta do
Shoot
is
him.
pull that. All you gotta do is pull that trigger back and bam.
That's
You're not.
exactly how I felt
You're not gonna
the
do it,
whole
are
time.
you? Yes, hell, you will. You can do it. I could totally relate. That's kind of how I was low key feeling when I was watching the scene. I'm like, why are we waiting? Just shoot him. Let him go. Just kill him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But
Yeah. The only complaint I have about that scene is that guy was just a little bit too annoying. You know, like I get he wouldn't want him to be scummy, and he did die. It was just like I don't know, it was a little weird where like in the beginning he was like, "Be quiet, we're not in your lab." And then when the other guy's like, "I'm not with him" or whatever, and like they shoots him and he's like, "Ah!" Like and I was like, "Okay, what is this? Like this seems like a little silly for the what's going on right now. This seems a little like out of place." So that scene was just like a little bit like weird to start with, but it wrapped up really, really well with her blasting that dude in the face. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm back in."
exactly. Yeah, I now that you point that out, I can kind of see what you mean. Like it definitely started off a little too like not melodramatic. Let's just stick with the word melodramatic, just because, like you said,
Yeah.
how the doctor's freaking out. Is like, we're not in your lab. You don't command us. It's like, I mean, he is the precious cargo. Like, sure, he's passenger seat driving, but let him go.
Like
Let him say it.
like all the doctors said, what's going on? What's happening? Be quiet. You're not in your lab. Like what? What is that? And then like he's like, I don't have a death wish. And then he like immediately creates like a hostage situation. Like, dude, what is going on? Like, where's your head at?
Where is the consistency here?
This
But
guy's
I,
all over this. I'm glad he got shot in the face.
but I will say too, yeah, he was a little annoying when he was singing. I think maybe that was the point. But at the same time, it was like
Maybe.
just a little too much. Maybe it was a little too much. And I can understand for you. For me, I liked it, but it wasn't one of my favorite scenes. Now, when we fast forward until after that, where, Boba and Din land on this planet, and that's when we see Sasha Banks' character, which I don't remember her name. I think it's Fosk?
Uh, Koska
Koska. Koska?
or Koska. Koska.
I don't know. Anyways,
Koska. However you want to pronounce it, Koska.
I'm just gonna stick with. Okay, fine. We see Casca and Bo-Katan just chilling in like a bar, and everybody kind of looks at Boba and Din all armored up, just kind of walking through this cantina, and they're just like, oh, you can see some people's face like, oh shit, like
Uh,
there's more. This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of
oh my gosh,
them.
no. The Trade Federation.
Oh god, those offensive accents. I'm not gonna
Really
get into it right
offensive.
now. I mean, but it was kind of fun saying. I'm not gonna agree with it. Anyways, uh, it was my favorite scene just because we see like three sides of the Mandalorian culture in a way, where Bo, Katan, and Casca, they're true Mandalorians born on Mandalore. They're one's royalty, the other one's just like her handmaiden, her right hand woman, essentially, I would say.
Mhm.
And Din is a foundling of the Death Watch, so he adopted the creed of Mandalore and will fight for it and defend it and wear that armor with pride, but not born
Mhm.
a Mandalore. And
Yeah.
then Boba, which this episode does a great job of reminding people, more so than 2 episodes ago, that Boba is a clone. He is not Mandalorian by any means. He was raised by one. So technically he could also be considered a foundling, but he is a clone.
Mhm.
So technically he
Yeah.
is Jango Fett without being Jango Fett. So
Yeah.
it's
But he doesn't like really consider himself a Mandalorian too, but he still wears that armor.
yeah, because I mean, I would too. Like the way he says, like it's my father's armor. This is mine. Like I'm not gonna
Mhm.
forsake it, no matter what you people think, what anyone says. This is mine. This is my last line of like heritage, essentially. So
Exactly.
yeah, no, I could totally agree with that, and I loved how I can't quite say the line. I think I'm gonna paraphrase it where, we're not all Mandalorians are bounty hunters. Some of us, oh yeah, some of us serve a higher purpose. So almost spot on. And she's
Yeah.
basically taking a jab at Din and Boba, more so Boba than anything, because it's like I think his reputation carried on without them explicitly saying it. But I love that jab that also she says, "I've heard your voice 1,000 times. You're a clone," like in disgust. Like
Yeah.
I felt that from her and I thought, oh, that is a fair point. Just because did he voice the clones? He didn't voice the clones in Clone Wars, right? Or did he?
No, he didn't do the voiceover work in Clone Wars, the anime show, but he did,
He
do the
was a
voices in the movies.
yeah, in Attack of the Clones, and he actually saw him as the clones in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So
Yeah.
that was just a cool reminder of that. I just thought, just man, oh, if you're gonna piss anyone off, that's the way to do it. Like you're not even really human. You're a thing, an experiment, essentially. Kind of like what Tony
Hmm.
Stark told uh, Captain Rogers and Captain America in Avengers, that everything special out of you came out of a bottle. Like there's nothing, you're not important, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
that fight between Boba and Casca was pretty badass. Like he's
Yeah, that was
old,
actually pretty cool.
like she's at least half his age, or at least shave off a few years, and they're kind of like dominating each other, and they end with the flamethrowers at each other. I thought, oh my god, that's really badass to end on.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
It reminded me of the Obi-Wan and Anakin, force pushing each other at the same time, just canceling each other out like ah.
exactly, and she was kind of like, damn it, he did the same thing I did, and it's kind of like that was another thing to prove that Boba is a badass. Which again, I take back everything bad I've ever said about him after this
Yeah, me
season.
too.
And yeah, like even though he's not Mandalorian, they took a jab at him with that. It's like he still knows how to use that armor. He's still a great warrior. So you can say what you want, but he'll back it up, no problem. So that was one of my favorite moments, and that they recruited her to go get the dark saber, essentially more so for her, and he was trying to get Grogu. But
Yeah, he's like, well, we want kind of the same thing. Well, they're in the same place. Just help me out.
yeah, exactly. And again, man, I was really, it's great that they brought Bo-Katan back. I thought they were going to bring her back for the last episode. Like, I wonder if they were going to do the two-parter, but it's kind of great. I think it's better they saved it for just one episode, just to kind of, condense it all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know what she would have, added to last episode. Should she have been, in it? I think, the use of her character in particular in this season, I think, has been really well done. Where she doesn't overstay her welcome, and it's exciting when she's on screen.
Absolutely. And I just kind of love the plan that I loved how she again takes over like the tactical command for everyone, that she's still a hard
Yeah.
warrior as well. And yeah, it was kind of nice seeing all the ladies fight together. Basically, another end game moment for them, where Bo Katan, Casca, Kara, and Fennec just kind of come out of the Slave One, or their little, I don't know what to call it, just their like messenger ship, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. The little cruiser, and they're all just
Yeah, the other
guns
Imperial
blazing.
cruiser.
They're all just guns blazing, kicking ass. Like I was like, damn, these ladies are amazing.
Yeah, it's another great women moment, alongside something earlier this year from the boys where they were all just beating up on what, Liberty. What was her
Stormfront.
name again? Stormfront. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
just
Women get it done.
just women get it done.
And then my next was anything I've missed so far. Any favorite moments, or are you just gonna shout them out when we get to them?
I mean, you're covering it, point by point. I mean, I'm liking all the stuff that you said. I also like how, um, what's his name, Gideon, wasn't like really like fooled by them. Their whole fake distress signal call. He was just like, release the TIE fighters. I was like, oh no, like this guy's like, he's too smart for his own good. Damn it! But luckily they were able to get in by some good maneuvering by Casca. So, they got in there and sort of wrecking shop. Again, a lot of the action scenes that we've seen this season is, basically them just walking forward and just offing some stormtroopers. But I think, Peyton Reed did a really good job of making it really like fun and interesting and dynamic and stuff. So again, just a credit to his directing on the action front, because I think he also did a really good job in episode 2 with that.
Oh, he did do episode two. I totally forgot. And this was actually a surprise from Peyton Reed too, because like just again, he knows how to direct. I mean, the Ant-Man movies, say what you will about them if you don't like them or not, they do have some great action in them as well. So yeah, he did a great job with this episode. Very very surprised and happy about that. But the next cool thing, and also smart a-hole move by Moff Gideon, was just to get the Dark Troopers, like initiate them, and they're turning on, and they look so cool. Like I mean, because we kind of saw them 2 episodes ago, where it was just a real glimpse, just like them flying down, flying back up. So you didn't really get a whole
Yeah.
view of them. But this time we got to kind of see them in action, and they were just the Terminators of.
Oh yeah.
If they are around in the original movies, they would have been just impossible for like Han and the rebels to just stop because they was beating the hell out of Din, and I thought even with the Beskar, like it was kind of punching his helmet, and I thought it was gonna break his hand, but it just kept like breaking his face into the wall. I thought, oh
Yeah,
shoot,
it's
that
just
would
like
hurt.
denting him into the wall with every punch. I was like, oh my gosh, like if he didn't have that helmet, he's dead.
And he was still shooting him. He did everything, used his little whispering birds, his blaster, his flamethrower. That thing would not stop. But the cool moment
And that was
was
just
when he
one.
exactly, and there was a whole platoon of them, so that was at least like a couple dozen. And it was great though when he pulled the Beskar spear and just speared it in the face. Like I was like, yes, thank you. Finally, that's what you have it for. Use it.
I know, but like been wanting to see you use that thing for a while now.
Two hands, Din. Two hands. God gave you two goddamn hands for a reason.
Pivot, bob and weave, serpentine, serpentine.
Thrust now. Oh man,
Just sideline coaching. You're doing a great job.
okay, fuckface, you're doing a great job. Just be Will Ferrell from the house. Just, excuse me, what the hell is that? Like all snooty about it, and then just, you're doing a great job. Like, good,
Doing a
keep
great
going.
job.
Oh man, and then what else? That whole fight between Moth and Din was way better than I thought it was gonna go. In all honesty, just because we've seen Din fight hand to hand, but I've never seen him really like with like a weapon of sorts, or at least I don't remember until this episode. So that whole Beskar spear dark saber fight was pretty awesome. I don't know about you, Bird, but I was
Oh
psyched out of my
yeah,
mind seeing it.
that was super sick, and like the build up to it was pretty great too. Where Moff was just trying to play it off like, okay, I already got what I wanted. You can just take the kid, but you better leave. I don't want to cross paths with you again. And for a moment, even Din was like, Okay, I mean, I guess I'll just take the kid, and then just bam, like he just pulls out his darksaber and starts hacking away at him. Like I think Giancarlo Esposito did a great job with the action there because, I mean, he sold that. Like he was not pulling his punches. He was just wailing away at Din the whole time. I was like, oh my gosh, I did not expect that type of ruthlessness and that movement from that man. Caught me completely by surprise.
Yeah, because John Carlo, I don't know how old he is. He does look a little on the older side, but it's hard to tell. Anyways, yeah, no, the action, the choreography for him was pretty spot on. Even if it was a stunt double, it's like Moff Gideon's still a badass. Like he was just hacking away, fighting with that thing, and it was just so cool to see Din use that spear beautifully as well. Like he could, after watching that, I'm thinking like, damn, he could give Ahsoka Tano and any Jedi a run for their money, just because with the lightsaber and his armor just made out of Beskar, he could put up a fight. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
he's a complete tank in that armor, so he can just take hits and just dish out punishment.
exactly, and I wasn't really thinking about it until now, but the next one where he brings Moff Gideon to the bridge where he planned on everyone being that Bo-Katan's face because she was stressing the whole episode. I have to fight him. I have to fight him. He's mine.
Yeah,
Don't
leave
don't touch
leave
him.
leave Moff Gideon to me. Yeah.
And we end up just seeing the shock in her face, like, what happened? Like, what did you do? And Kara's like,
Hmm.
well, we left him alive. That was his job because he's ISB. He has a lot of information we could use to help clean up the galaxy. And that's when he planned it. And that's why he's also such a great villain because he just
Yeah.
he knew what he was doing. Because for those of you who don't know, if you haven't seen the Clone Wars shows or maybe if you haven't read up on it, the whole point with the dark saber is that it is the weapon of the ruler of Mandalore. So if you're king, queen, whatever, that is your weapon to hold. And
Yeah.
to take over
It's like
to
Excalibur, basically. Just think of it
yeah,
that way.
exactly. And to take control of Mandalore, you have to fight trial by combat for that weapon. If you beat that person, you gain the weapon and you gain control of all of Mandalore. So he knew that, and he referenced that this is her weapon. Like she needs this, or else she's just nothing. She's still just a wannabe ruler of Mandalore.
Hmm.
And even though Din wants nothing to do with it, he's like, I yield, just take it. And I was kind of saying like, Bo, just take it, okay? He doesn't want it. Just say you beat him, smack him, something, anything, just to get it over with. She just had that. She was holding back, like, he's right. I can't. So that was another interesting thing for next season. Like, what is going to happen with them? Like, is she going to try and fight him for it? Is she going to let him keep it? Like, we don't know. But it added on to the intrigue of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was such a like a great moment, that where he's trying to give it to her, like, I don't care, if you want to fight me, I yield. Just take it. I have no interest in this thing. And just how like Moff Gideon played them all. Like you said, that was once he saw that they wanted to attack, he's like, okay, I know he's coming, and I know Bo Katan's probably gonna be with him because I know they've been running around together. So I'm gonna go put myself in the situation where I know I'm not gonna beat the Mando in the fight. So I'm just gonna lose this dark saber to him and cause some conflict within his party. And he did, and we just saw that play out for a brief second. We didn't get to see, exactly the wrap up of that, but just the fact that it was just so funny, and then I thought about it like a little bit after the episode ended. For Bo-Katan to kind of scold the Mando in the third episode when she was first introduced about how he's so zealous in his belief in the mask and not taking it off, and that was his thing, and for her to have that same thing for this sword, this whole idea of the idea is what you're putting belief into, and now she has this zealous belief that I can't take this thing from him even though he's offering it to me. I can't take it because of these like traditions or whatever. I thought that was so like hypocritical of her, and I thought that was a really good like parallel in between their two characters.
That's called a cruel irony, like my dependence on you. But no, you are completely right. As much as she would criticize him in the Death Watch for being just crazy, tribe of Mandalore, it's like you're really like, I know you're Mandalorian, Bo, and you are royalty, but if you're gonna be hypocritical on that, it's like you better just take the blade when he's yielding to you. He yielded, so it is one of those things that she's first to judge, but then will kind of just but because it's her, it's a different situation. And yeah, like I said, it
Hmm.
was a perfect cruel irony for that, and I'm glad you point that out because that is very true. Um, but and then it was crazy though because I love how he ejected the Dark Troopers, thinking, okay, that was it. They were cool for a minute, but they're gone. And then just
Yeah,
you
I
see
was
them on
like,
the
oh my gosh,
radar.
wow.
They all come back like, oh man, they really are badass. Like they can
Yeah, I
fly
mean,
in space.
when he ejected them, I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's kind of disappointing. Like I wanted to see more of them in action. So the fact that they came back, I was like, oh snap, okay, now we're gonna get something. Because I was like that one put up such a big fight and was such a huge problem for Din. I can imagine a whole platoon is gonna be insane.
Yeah, and they're all kind of just getting ready for that last battle. Like, everyone's got their blasters ready, and Moff's just saying, "Oh, impressive fire team, but we know what's gonna happen. You're all gonna die."
Uh-huh.
I was like, "You
He's,
smug bastard! You shut your face."
he's he's villain Malignant. I'm like, can someone get him one of those like things that they put on Loki, that little mouth cover, like so he can stop talking?
Absolutely. But then the one of my other favorite moments, the craziest moment, which I really didn't see coming, was just, oh, what, a rogue X-wing shows up, which is already a
So
huge flare.
yeah, yeah. So when they said that just one lone X-wing, did you have an idea what was going to come next,
I was
or
just
was
like,
it still ambiguous for you?
I was kind of like, no, is it? No.
Yeah,
Really? No. What?
I was like,
No.
no,
But
it
then
can't.
But then when you start looking at the security cameras and even Moff's face, like, wait, what is happening? And how you see these dark troopers just getting slashed and a black cloaked figure, I thought, no. And then another
Hmm.
scene where he's going through the cargo bay, just kind of basically going the same trail that the ladies went to get to the bridge. And you see the
Hmm.
black dove with the green lightsaber, Luke's green lightsaber. I thought, no way, they brought him in this. And he was
Yeah.
just a force of nature. Like again, this show does so much to improve Boba, and not that Luke really need improving. Just because the original trilogy could only do so much back then with choreography and effects and everything.
Yeah.
And these new movies like Rogue One and even this show, it really goes to they've changed the way lightsaber duels have really even the prequel trilogy they've really shown what it could have been like and what other moves they could do. And
Yeah, it's
again, he
because
was
the
just
technology is caught up.
exactly, and he was making mincemeat out of those Dark Troopers. So it's just like
Hmm.
we were talking about how they're kind of a one-off thing. It's like even though they came back, it's still like nope, they're still a one-off. Like that was it, just
Yeah.
because he's just slashing at him beautifully, and a Grogu immediately is like, wait, like Master, you came.
Like him touching the little video screen of Luke, just taking out all these dark troopers. Just,
His
I was
little
like,
his little three
I
finger
was just, I was joking around, like saying, "That's my new papa."
Grogu, yo soy tu papá. And then I know a couple writers and like articles I saw basically said Luke had his Darth Vader moment for Rogue One and that last
Uh-huh.
hallway. It basically was. It was a callback to Rogue
Basically, yeah.
One,
Definitely.
like father, like son, if you will.
He was a Jedi like his father before him. Just wrecking droids left and right. That's what they do.
Yeah, where he's just like slashing at him, brought one, killed him, and then crushed one. And I thought,
Hmm.
okay, he does not care. But here's
Oh,
the thing.
Jedi's don't care about no droids. They go
No,
ham on those droids.
they really do. Qui-Gon and Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson specifically go ham on droids.
Oh yeah. Those two guys, they have it out for them. It's like they wronged them in a past life or something.
I don't like the way you sound, slash. I don't like the way you look, slash. And I just don't like you, slash.
Your antenna, whack. Your gear, whack. The
Little
way you walk,
microphone, whack.
whack.
Now, I know we were talking about this last night in our private conversations. It was another moment of Disney trying to do the deep fake where they put a young actor's face on a body, essentially, kind of like what they did in Rogue One with Grand Moff Tarkin, Princess Leia, and even in Rise of Skywalker, we definitely saw it with young Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, and young Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, God rest her.
Hmm.
And again, actually, it's
And
twice she's been defaked in movies, which is kind of funny. But
yeah,
uh,
that is that. Oh wow, yeah, it is twice.
and oh my God, I just realized they were both after she died too. I think that's messed up. No, Rogue One was
Did,
before, wasn't it? No, Rogue One was 2016. Didn't she die in 2016? Because Last Jedi came out in 2017.
yeah, yeah. She had died before the release of the movie.
So again, just I don't know. That's a little scary. Anyways, this is definitely one of the worst ones. But actually, watching it again, it wasn't that bad. Like I did rewatch it this morning with the family before going to work, and it wasn't that bad. But at the same time, I just thought, I don't know how I feel about this. Maybe they should. I personally wanted Sebastian Stan. That he has been fan casted
You
for.
and everybody else.
Yeah, he has been fan casted for a couple years now, and I don't think that would have been bad, but you did make a good point that it was only for maybe a couple minutes. It wasn't even that big of a deal. It's not like he was having full on dialogue with, the young face. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that was
Like
just one of
like
those things I was nitpicky about.
yeah, and I agree too. That again, like when he pulls the hood down and it's the young Luke face. I mean, your immediate reaction, I think everybody's immediate reaction is to like, be kind of put off by it because, they could do the deep fake and they can, let's say they do it really well. Like just in our, in the back of our minds, we know the actors don't look that way anymore. So immediately, our brain is not going to agree with what's happening there. We're immediately going to reject it. We're going to know that it's fake. So, I mean, I think if he had a bigger role in the episode, like say he was in it for much longer, and let's say he had like more of an Ahsoka role in
Mm.
this episode, then yeah, I would have said, having a completely actor like Sebastian Stan, for example, just play the character. I think that would have been the right move. But yeah, just since we really only got maybe a couple of minutes of his face, if that. The deep fake wasn't, completely distracting. It did take me out of it, not to say that it didn't, but just for the amount of time that we saw it, it didn't detract too much for me, like it enough for me to think it like ruined this episode or anything like that.
No, and that's totally fair. For me, I just thought, oh, I don't know how I feel about this, but in the end, it was still such a great moment just because. And I like how they're all kind of scared. It wasn't just Din. Like even Kara and Fennec were like, "Are you serious? We're gonna open the doors for this guy?" Like he just destroyed these, like basically impossibly strong troopers, and he just asked him like, "Are you a Jedi?" And it's kind of like, well, duh. But it's not like anybody had really seen the Jedi just because even in this point in time with Luke destroying the Death Star, Darth Vader, that Jedi are still considered a myth. Same with the Sith. They're not completely true. They could just be stories. So it was
Yeah,
kind
there's
of
only a couple of them. It's not like there's a whole bunch of them out there. Operating. I guess in terms of the general idea of, like you said, the rest of the Star Wars universe, they're kind of like a myth at that point. I guess you're saying, right? Like there isn't like a bunch of them. There's only like two at a time. It was just Luke and Darth Vader and I guess Sidious.
and then
So
Ahsoka technically, but even though she's not really a Jedi, she's
yeah,
trained. But
but there's
yeah,
just so little of them around.
exactly. Just because they're basically extinct, so it's like a unicorn essentially,
Exactly.
and exactly, and it's just kind of a funny moment, but also just like just comforting. It's like, are you a Jedi? He's like, yes. Like he reached out, and with talent but no training, they'll diminish. And he does want to take on the responsibility of training Grogu. And when he puts his hand out for him, he's like, he doesn't want to go with you. He says he's asking you for permission. Like he's willing to go, but only if you're okay with him going. Like
Yeah.
a son's approval, a son wanting his father's approval for something. And I got a little emotional watching it where
Oh
he's
my
just saying,
gosh, me too.
where he picks up Grogu and is just like, "I'll see you again. Like this isn't the end, kid. Just go with him. You'll be safe, and I'll come back for you." And he takes off his helmet in front of everybody. It's like, oh my God, Din, you finally completed your character growth. You are now. It's almost like he's forsaken the Death Watch creed. It'll be interesting to see that next season too. Like, is he still gonna be struggling with it? Is he gonna be more okay with it?
Yeah.
Either way, it'll be great whatever way he goes. I know even Pedro Pascal in the behind the scenes, he said, "No, I'm keeping the helmet on. That's part of the character. I'm fine with that." Just because there've been rumors that he wants more FaceTime for himself on the show,
Yeah.
but Pedro Pascal's a great actor. It's like even if we don't see his face, we know it's you, dude. Don't worry about it, and he knows that too. So it was just, oh my God, he did such a great job of just really showing the emotion with this one too, where Grogu's touching his face and he's getting like my son, go with him, and then R2 comes rolling in, no problem, like, oh my God, we're bringing back everybody. This is awesome.
This is a big family reunion. Oh, this is such a touching moment, which was nice. I really like that it had one of those really like really good like powerful like human. I guess not really human because Grogu's not human, but a really nice human moment between the two of them, where Grogu's he wants to see his father figure's face before he leaves him for he doesn't know how long. So yeah, I think I mean I don't think I've ever gotten emotional in any scene, by any Star Wars, movie or show or anything. But this one got me really close, where I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see them leave each other. This is so sad, but such a beautiful moment.
This finale and last finale, especially season one, where IG-11 sacrifices himself, that got me emotional just because a droid is acknowledging like there's no way we win without the child living. I have to do it. And Din's like, you can't. You have to protect him. He's like, don't be sad. And he's like, I'm not sad. I can read your voice levels. Like, it's okay. That part got me emotional, and this one did too. Just where it's that almost the unknown feeling of like what will happen after this kind of thing,
Hmm.
and it was such a great scene where Luke also just ends with his best line, "May the Force be with you," and they're just kind of walking away, and again leaves us in limbo with this show, like the Mandalorian show. That okay, We took over this light cruiser, and we have Moff Gideon. We have Dr. Pershing.
We got the
Um,
dark saber.
but it's like, what's gonna happen next? My prediction for next season is gonna be the retaking of Mandalore and that little conflict, that struggling
Oh, I
conflict
think
between
so.
them. And again, Thrawn did get hinted this season, so if they don't bring him into the next one with Moff Gideon, I'm gonna be a little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, but
Oh, I think Thrawn's going to be saved for Ahsoka's solo show. I don't think he's going to play a big role in the
uh,
Mandalorian.
you think so?
Yeah,
Eh,
I don't think so.
I guess that would make sense since she was the one who brought him up, and she is getting her own show next year too. So yeah, I guess you're most likely right. He probably won't, but it would be cool if he does make his appearance on this one. Now, damn it, it won't even make sense because I think Ahsoka is coming out sometime next year, and then Mandalorian season 3 on Christmas. So we'll have to see how that works out. But
But I do agree. I think that's what the central, plot will be from now. Instead of it being, about trying to get Grogu back to his people, it's going to be essentially Din having to retake, the Mandalorian homeland, and also him coming to terms with, he's going to be their leader now. Like he's going to be like their unwilling leader. Like he doesn't want it, but it's rightfully his. He won the right to the throne essentially, and he's like, got to come to terms with being, I guess, a leader for the Mandalorians. I think that's probably the direction they're going to take his character arc. Him going from being this father figure, this reluctant father figure, to being a reluctant father figure for an entire entire civilization of people. I think this is gonna be pretty cool if that's the direction they want to go into.
absolutely, Bern. Absolutely. I mean, well, what we saw here the other night, people going to be saying, "Bo, who?"
Bo.
I'm just, you know what that's from. I love Bedazzled. Anyways, um, so I thought that episode was fantastic already, but I fast forwarded through the credits because I saw all day Friday just Boba gets this new show is revealed at the end of the Mandalorian. I'm like, okay, how? So I just skipped through the credits and oh my god, just
Ladies and gentlemen, we got the biggest reveal of all time.
one of the best and biggest reveals of all time. Where
Bib Fortuna is alive, people. He is in charge of the Hut clan and the Hut gang, and he is there on the throne.
and for those of you who don't know, basically for those of you who don't remember anything, when it gets back to Jabba's palace, that's what that building was in the post-credit scene essentially, and you go into like Jabba's old throne room, and that's where you see this fat, pale alien. Essentially, that was the Twi'lek servant that he had. Not Twi'lek servant, but his right
He's
hand
right,
guy,
man.
his
Yeah.
conciliary. Yeah, from Return of the Jedi. That skinny little white pale dude, and then he
Yeah.
became fat like
Sharp
Jabba.
teeth. Yeah, well, he put on some LBs, bro.
And it was
He's been
only
looking
like
good.
it was only like 5 or 9 years after that happened. So it's like, dude, my God, you just don't care anymore, do you?
It's like, you can take over, Jabba's role, but you don't have to become Jabba.
But he did, and just when you hear the blasters going on, Fennec comes downstairs, just blasting everybody like no
Oh,
problem.
ice and foods left and right. She's just one tapping them.
And then another, beautiful Twi'lek chick. I don't know about you, but I've always had a crush on the Twi'leks from in Star Wars. It's weird. Let's
I
keep
don't
going.
think you could be a fan of Star Wars and not have a crush on Twilight.
They have tentacles for heads, but it works. It just works.
You're like, I
But
hope this doesn't unlock something in me.
and and this actually, we'll talk about this in a second. I saw a little theory on what this meant. But when Fennec shot the slave's chain, the Twi'lek girl's chain, and just let her go, it's like, okay, you could have just killed her right then and there. Like that didn't really matter. But okay, cool. And that's when you see Boba again, and just I love his look with the black robes underneath, just
Yeah.
looking very
Oh,
regal and badass, just coming down and Bib Fortuna's like, Boba, like I thought you were dead. Like he's trying to be all friendly with him. It's like there were rumors. I didn't know what happened to you. It's like you could have brought him back to the palace anytime you wanted. You could have or sent word for him.
uh-huh.
and then he just aims his awesome little rifle at him. Just
Yeah,
bam.
he's got his blaster back. I saw, like, I love that. I was like, oh yes, his look is complete.
Like I know he had it in the last episode, but it's cool seeing him just use it again, just again single handed, just and Bib Fortune just falls down, just like ugh. And he
Dead.
kicks his and he kicks his his very chubby corpse off the chair, like this is my chair. And oh, it was just such a great moment, just him kind of settling on the seat, putting his rifle next to him. Fennec gets a little bottle of like yak milk, whatever they're drinking, and she's like,
The blue liquor, not the blue milk, but the blue liquor.
exactly, and just sits next to him like, all right, what's next? She's basically giving that look like, all right, boss, what's next? Like, what do we do now? And he's just sitting there like, let's get to work. I just thought the book of Boba Fett comes on screen coming 2021 or December 2021. I was like, no way! That is the best way to introduce this show. I thought it was gonna be something stupid or just like something like that at the end, but wow, that was easily my favorite moment of this episode. I think just strictly that because it was such a good throwback to the original trilogy and also just forging ways for a new show that was not announced at Investor Day last week.
Yeah, and I mean clearly we know why because they wanted to save that announcement for the season finale because I mean they already knew everybody was going to tune in for that, so why spoil the moment ahead of time? But yeah, that was such a awesome final shot just to end off of him on the throne, essentially the new big gangster in town, which I thought was an awesome direction to take Boba into, where he's going from the bounty hunter to being a crime boss now. That I think that's really cool idea.
But now it's making me think because this is what I read up on one of my articles I follow on like Facebook and stuff that shooting the chains of that slave girl actually could be hinting that they're going to be their own vigilantes essentially on Tatooine and on in the galaxy where they're just going to clean up. They're going to basically put Jabba's crap to a stop. His all his criminal activities, like anything the Hutts have left, they're going to clean it up, clean up all the Imperials out of the galaxy or the Outer Rim territories at least. And I thought that would not be bad, where Boba's essentially just kind of like an outlaw hero, where him and Fennec are just kind of, taking out these guys one by one. So I think it could go that. If not, like I said, we were talking a Galactic Justified. Bring back Cobb Vanth to either help him or try and go after Boba. So it's a constant like cat and mouse or like a Tom and Jerry,
Yeah,
Literally.
that's. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. Like I was telling you the other night, where I want it to be where, yeah, Boba's the new crime boss, and it's like Star Wars Breaking Bad, where he's just the big baddie of the show, but he's the main character, and hopefully Cobb Vanth, since he's on Tatooine and he's like the marshal, he's the one that's got to come take him down. And then, like you said, it's justified in Star Wars, and that's what I've been wanting since we saw Timothy Olyphant show up in the Mandalorian. So I was like, we better give him a show, and if they put him in Boba's show, I think that'd be super dope.
Yeah, because Timothy Olyphant's one of my favorite actors, and I loved his character in the Star Wars world. So being on Tatooine, it would make sense that they bring him back for that. And again, he just had a cool look. So I'm fine with your way of wanting to be justified in space, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind that theory that maybe he's just going to clean up the galaxy for his own means. Like he's still going to be thinking out for himself, looking for himself, but he's also going to do some good. Not a complete hero, like an anti-hero, essentially. Um, so that's my thought process. But again, Mandalorian season 3, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka Tano, and that's pretty much it. Those are the big shows I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to.
those are the ones I'm excited for, definitely.
I know, like I was gonna go with more, but I didn't. Now real quick before we finish off, besides this one, what were your other favorite episodes that topped this one for you? Like, what are your top 3 of this season?
My top three of the season, I would say.
And in your order.
Oh, in my order. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say definitely The Jedi is still my favorite episode of the season and definitely my favorite episode of the show. I think that one was just so well done in every aspect, from acting to just the way it was shot. I think it's by far the most beautiful episode of the show in terms of like just the visual look, and just again all the callbacks to all the influences of Star Wars, going from westerns to Japanese samurai movies. I think that episode was just the pinnacle of the show so far, and also having Ahsoka be there, it tips my bias in that direction. But I mean, if just the fact that she was done so well was super awesome. So that one's definitely my favorite episode of the season. And then I would say probably I'm probably gonna I'll go ahead. It's my list, so I'll cheat. I'll say tie for second place will definitely be the first episode and the third episode with Cobb Vanth in the first one. I thought that season premiere was super well done and set up the stakes for this season right from the get go. And again, the John Favreau did such a good job of directing that episode. And then the episode with where Bo-Katan and them get introduced, I thought that one was a really cool payoff to something we've been wanting to see for a while, and her being realized in live action. So I would put this episode just under those.
Okay. No,
Not that I didn't like this episode. Maybe I do like this episode more than the Bo-Katan. I don't know, but I'll just leave that list like that for now.
Mine are definitely going to be kind of reverse order. So the finale, because the post credits, and then some of the scenes I've talked about this in our spoiler session. Ahsoka, and then Bo-Katan. Those are my top three. And the fourth one I'm gonna have to say is either surprisingly the Boba Fett one a couple episodes ago, or the first one with Cobb Vanth.
Yeah. All really good episodes. There wasn't an episode this season that I didn't enjoy. Like last season, episode 5 or whichever one it was with Bobby Cannavale's kid. I don't think there was an episode that reached those lows at all. So again, that's why this whole season was just super solid.
Well, like I said, man, I couldn't agree with you more on like your top three, and this season alone. It's a shame it's over. I'm gonna have to start rewatching these episodes all over again.
Oh, definitely.
Just relive it. But this time I think I'm gonna start from season 1 and work my way up to the end of season 2, just so it's one unified viewing of it all. But again, just after that post credits scene, I can't wait for the Book of Boba Fett and what that has to offer. Just because, again, with what we've seen with the Mandalorian on Disney Plus, and there's so much more content coming out in the next few years, Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, that we can just expect cinematic perfection, just quality, the best quality you can get on a streaming service. Like Netflix has some good ones, and HBO as well. Don't get me wrong; they're some of the biggest ones in the business. Same with Hulu, but nothing feels as fulfilled and beautiful as Disney Plus, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely don't have the same budget as Disney Plus does. I mean, all those other streaming services have, I mean, really good shows. I mean, HBO has been fantastic for a long time, and Amazon Prime has some good shows, and with we've been praising The Boys this whole year. But again, those shows and those, I mean, with the exception of probably Game of Thrones, but that's over already, and we'll see just how well that production value is kept up for that new Game of Thrones show that they're doing. But I mean, just again, in terms of overall budget, we can just see that we're getting movie level quality with this Disney Plus show. I mean, with Mando, it's just been crazy. I'm like, this is a TV show, and it's just like I'm watching a movie every week. It's so good and it's so well done. And that just makes me even more excited for all the other shows that are coming out, because I know I'm going to get this level of quality with that.
And spoiler alert, it's all digitally created too. None of these are filled in an actual location. They are just filled with green screen. So that just goes to show how much technology is, just accelerated in the last couple years, especially for Mandalorian. So
what a time. What a time to be alive.
I'm the greatest fan. I'm never gonna die. But that'll do it for me, Bern. Anything else you want to throw out for this finale episode?
I just want to give again a great big pat on the back to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. What they've done with these 2 seasons in The Mandalorian has been my favorite Star Wars stuff that we've gotten in the last few years. So, big props to those guys, and also huge props to Ludwig Göransson, the composer for this show. He's done such a good job with the music on on the Mandalorian with all the different themes, and it sounds so different from everything we've heard before with like John Williams' score, but it still fits in the universe, and it's so good consistently week after week after week. I should have been praising him more, this whole season. I just want to give a tip of the hat to him because he's been doing such a fantastic job with his music on The Mandalorian.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's unlike anything we've heard in the other Star Wars, but again, it fits so well. It really just it reminds you that this is another world within Star Wars, like the underground, behind the scenes, with everything going on, and it's a massive scale, but it isn't. Like everything that we've seen in the show should be like something you would see in the movies or like basically the same missions and stuff, but it's for a smaller character. Like it's just hard to explain, but. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree with you more on the score. And yeah, again, shout out to Filoni, Favreau, all you guys, and all the directors this
All the
season.
directors, yeah.
Carl Weathers, great job. Peyton Reed, fantastic job. Bryce Dallas Howard. Again, can't praise you guys enough. You guys are really showing your craft, and we hope that you guys can keep bring this to either the other shows in Star Wars or Marvel or this one especially, and even just keep doing other projects. You want to you want to start directing movies, go ahead, or keep directing movies. You guys have proven that you're willing. If you love the content, and you have a great direction. There's nothing you can't do, and we love that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, like I said, man, that'll do it for me though, Bern.
That'll do it for me as well, man. It's been a good 8 weeks with this show, and man, what's next?
What do we talk about now?
What do we even do?
I don't know what to do with myself. Like what?
Let's just review the episodes again.
Review 2.0. This is what I hated about this show.
It's a complete 180. We're just gonna talk. We're just gonna hammer on the show. Just I hate the show. I hate everybody who wrote the show.
His stupid helmet, cool. It's like, what is your? I would even be listening. Like, what is your problem? You were just praising the show. Now you hate it.
Where did you get that armor from? Wakanda?
Oh my god! No, if I was a hardcore Star Wars fan, I'd be like, "You insolent swine!" Oh man! Yeah. Until next time, we're definitely gonna, ladies and gentlemen, with 2020 coming to an end. At least we got to end this season, this winter, with one of the best shows on available to consumers at home. And again, if you don't have Disney Plus, I think now is the time to get it. Again, this is a show to make the money worth it. And if you can't totally understand, you could always read up on it, listen to us talk about it, and we'll try and get you excited for when you guys can watch it. But that'll do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Christmas is coming up, so I wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you guys celebrate. Much love and joy for that. I pray
Exactly.
everybody's families and friends are all doing healthy and great. There's nothing I don't want more for people than just be happy with what you guys have and who you're spending your holidays with, or if you can't spend them with your family, again, just be happy that you guys are healthy. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. The real gift is us and our health and being good to each other. So that's the best way to celebrate Christmas is to celebrate what we have and what we're able to do at this current time. I know it's really been tough for a lot of people. And luckily, with us, it hasn't been too bad. But it definitely hasn't been as good for a lot of other people. So it's a good time to get perspective on that and just appreciate all the things that we do have and the time we have right now and the people we have that time with. So that's what Christmas is really about. And I just hope that if you can't celebrate with people, just know that in spirit everybody's in celebration with each other.
Exactly. Well, we're all here for each other. We're all human. So let's just keep toughing this year out as much as we can. There's always next year, guys. That's all I gotta say. If you made it through this year perfectly fine, there's always next year to live it up. The Roaring Twenties are coming back. Hashtag Back to the Future.
Exactly. We didn't get to do a lot this year, so we're gonna do it up big next year when everything's all good to go.
Exactly. But I'll talk to you soon, Bern, because we're going to talk about our favorite Christmas movies, and I'm going to talk about some of my movies that aren't really about Christmas, but they are Christmas movies. It's gonna be wild.
Eyes wide shut.
It's uh, Pulp Fiction, or Clockwork Orange.
The Shining, you know?
Oh my God, no.
Black Christmas. It's like, wait, hold on. Hold on.
That does work, but that movie, the Mary Elizabeth Winstead version, freaks me out. I don't. It made me scared of that Nutcracker song.
Oh, no.
That's the one that's like, just, I don't know how to describe it, but there's that one Christmas song that just gives you the heebie-jeebies every time I listen to it.
Is
Mostly
it
because of
Silent Night? I know, Silent Night creeps me the hell out.
no Silent Night. I don't mind, but we'll save this for the next episode. Until next time,
Just a little
everybody.
peek.
Everybody give us a like, share it around, let us know in the comments if there's anything else you liked about this season or any questions you have about the show in general. We'll try and answer them for you. Until next time, Bern, everybody keep stay bodacious and keep on ranting.
Exactly. Be safe, be good, because that is the way.
This is the way. Peace out, Bern.
Adios, my brother, man.